Hey guys, what is up? This is Me. Once again, welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time it is going to be on Elvis. Now, Elvis stars Austin Butler as Elvis Presley himself, and Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker, who is his manager of some sort. But this involves the life of him, and I'm going to be completely honest. While this is in the biopic territory, it mostly involves Elvis. As it mostly focuses a lot on Colonel Parker as he discovers Elvis and tries to make him, of course, that everybody knew back then. And throughout Elvis's career, he has been going through a lot, from marriage to drug abuse to a lot of controversial stuff involving politics and a lot of other stuff that I never really knew about him. So this movie definitely doesn't feel like a flat out biopic, okay? And if you don't know who Elvis is, which is kind of stupid, I think everybody in the world knows who Elvis is, even if you never knew him as a person. I think you probably have definitely heard his music. I mean, hell, his music has been heard in a lot of movies, like even kids' films, like Lilo and Stitch was filled to the brim with Elvis music. I mean, sure, some of them were cover songs, but those cover songs were from Elvis's songs. Stitch dresses up as Elvis, and Full House, Uncle Jesse with Elvis and stuff like that. So yeah, Elvis is a pretty big deal, and I think this movie does a very respectable job of honoring that person. And I honestly, while watching this movie, I really felt super bad for what was going on through Elvis's career because, despite the fact that he was a very popular musician, it goes to show that there was a lot of struggles going on in his life. Like, it was just insane. I mean, I think it might have been due to the fact that Colonel Parker has been treating him as well as, he thought he was. And I didn't know who Austin Butler was, but I feel like after watching this movie, I think we would definitely be seeing Austin Butler in a lot more projects. I'm sure he's done other stuff in the past, but this is definitely, if you're not familiar with him, then this is probably a big introduction, and he kicked ass as Elvis Presley. He is phenomenal. He does a very respectable job of capturing the man himself. He does a very, very strong performance, and his voice sounds just like how we've heard Elvis's song before. And Tom Hanks, he was pretty good. The only thing, though, is I guess his accent, because he uses an accent in the movie. It was all right, but it wasn't as believable as I would have hoped for. But he still gave a pretty solid enough performance. I mean, but Tom Hanks, what can you say? He's still a damn good actor. Even if not all of his movies were great, most of them are. This one also is pretty damn good, but I don't know. It's just his accent could have used a bit more work. But yeah. Also, there are some times in the movie where there are certain montages that have rap music in them, and this movie takes place around like the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. And there are some remixes, like pop music remixes to some of the songs. Not throughout the movie, just I don't really feel like worked. I feel like if it was really trying to go for Elvis's the old times of Elvis, because Elvis grew up in the old times and he died at the age of 42. So I really feel like they just shouldn't have done that. They should have just kept, the regular, just not remix some of the songs. But hey, this is a 2022 movie, so sometimes they're going to have that. And this movie is definitely going to, well, some people have been criticizing the movie a bit. I can kind of see why, because, I don't know. I don't really want to get into all that. I just want to enjoy this movie as a movie, and I think it does a really good job of capturing, the crazy stuff that happened in Elvis's life, showing that while he was a great singer, there's a lot of times where he was kind of controversial. I mean, people adored him, and people nowadays still do adore him, and even though he passed away. But I feel like, he was a great guy, but there was just so much stuff, and I think he's not to blame. I think it might have been due to the fact that he had a manager that attempted to treat him well, but in the end just treated him, not as well as he would have hoped. Or I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but in the end, I think it's due to the fact that he had a manager that kind of just wanted him to be absolutely perfect. And the depiction of him in this movie kind of shows that he kind of tried his best, but in the end, just failed. And while he did have a healthy relationship with his wife, there are times in the movie where, hell, even when Elvis was kissing a bunch of fans, like, she didn't seem to care that much. I mean, his wife leaves him for a different reason, and he did have a strong relationship with his wife, but there was just other stuff. He did a lot of drugs, and in fact, I think his manager prescribed him the drugs. But I feel like I'm talking about this story like the actual story. Like, I'm not sure if all this happened in Elvis's life, but there's definitely some biopics out there that don't fully capture the story rights. But yeah, but this movie definitely didn't feel like a biopic. I felt like I was watching something more different than a biopic. And in the end, guys, I had a pretty solid time with Elvis. I think Braz Luhrmann, I think that's what his last name is pronounced, Luhrmann. He did a really good job of the movie. The direction is very solid. Austin Butler was really good in the movie. I think he does a great job of capturing the Elvis, I wouldn't say character because Elvis never was a character, I guess the singer in the best way possible. And you don't really have to be an Elvis fan to enjoy this movie. It is very long. I kind of think they should have shaved off like 20 minutes and it would have been fine. In terms of modern biopics, this definitely isn't as good as, say, Rocket Man, but I think it definitely is a tad bit better than Bohemian Rhapsody, and I did like it more than Respect as well. And if you're an Elvis fan, definitely check it out. If you're not, I still recommend giving it a watch. It definitely is more different than your standard biopic. There is definitely a lot of emotion, a lot of drama, and I really did feel bad for what was going on through Elvis's life. And I think in terms of, I don't know a good Elvis pun, but to do but I guess the best way to say is check it out. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Yes, I will be seeing Minions Rise of Gru. I'm not super excited for that movie, but I'm going to see it anyway with my dad because he's a big Minions fan, so I'll definitely see it with that. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. We're out.